Kilnaleck, and welcome Minister Buttimer. When we're talking about public transport, Cavan does not have a rail service, and I'll come to that in a minute. So we are dependent on a bus service, and there is a regular bus service to Dublin every day, an hourly bus service it comes from Donegal on through Cavan and on through Meath and on to Dublin. And I've raised this on countless occasions and received all sorts of promises from the NTA. But the 109X and the capacity on it returning from Dublin to Cavan is a continual problem. And people are left standing at a bus stop every day on the bus that goes after 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock at least, and sometimes the later ones as well. So people could be waiting up to 3 hours to get a bus service home. And the bus drivers have raised this constantly with Bus Éireann, who send it on to the NTA, and they all blame each other and nobody does anything about it. I've received promise from the NTA that they were going to address it, they were going to put extra capacity at peak time. They've done nothing about it. A bus driver was telling me he had 8 seats on his bus for the last stop, which is Blanchardstown, as he makes his way out of Dublin. And there was 8 people got on, and the next 4 was a woman and 3 children, and it nearly killed him to have to leave them at the side of the road, but there was nothing he could do. A lot of older people and people with medical conditions take that bus to go to the James Connolly Hospital. And again, they're the people, because it's the last stop out of Dublin, are often left standing, and there's no proper covered bus stop either. So if the weather is cold and wet, they're left standing for sometimes an hour or sometimes more. So if that could be addressed, it would be absolutely brilliant. In relation to Local Link, we have a pretty good Local Link service in Cavan, I have to say. It's improving all the time, and again, there's always room for more services. But one thing people have often asked me is, could there not be more stops in between towns and villages? So there's one service, for example, goes from Cavan to Ballinagh and on to Kilnaleck and back again, which is brilliant. But if you live between any of those 2 towns, you have to go to one or other of them to get the service. And you know, there are safe places for her to pull in. I've asked the NTA to look at this. They said they have, and that it's gone to the council. I can't get an answer out of anyone again whether or not this can be approved, and if it could, it would be great. Also, if at the weekends they could maybe extend the nighttime service, it might actually help local businesses, the local pubs and so on, so that people would have a way to get home. Because of the lack of rail and a limited bus service, we are dependent on our roads. We have about 3,000 kilometres of local road, and they are in atrocious condition, and the money that's coming in is very limited. Last year, in one engineering area of roughly 1,000 kilometres of local road, only 13 kilometres could be repaired. That was all the funding that was provided. So, we need about 10 times that really to actually address it, because roads are deteriorating and disintegrating in front of our eyes. And the last thing is about the train service. There was a train service in Cavan, Monaghan, but there's none now in Cavan, Monaghan, Donegal, Fermanagh, Tyrone, that whole area. It is included in the All-Ireland Strategic Rail Review, but it's very late on. It's post-2040, and it's to connect Armagh to Cavan down to Mullingar. Look, we really would appreciate a rail service. It was foolish that they ever closed the one that there was there, but unfortunately there was no foresight, and that happened. But if that could be brought forward, it would be very welcome. Thank you.